So before we get into the meat of today's video, you'll see the lighting problem has been fixed. It cost me a lot less than I anticipated, and I'm always grateful for saving money. Unfortunately, I don't quite have the money or the time yet to fully deck out the room in foam, but I have tweaked the room around. The mic's a lot closer, because the echo when I was editing the Outer Worlds video was awful. I didn't realise it was quite that bad, but I didn't have time to completely redo everything. So I've done what I can. I've done a testing with this and it is better. I know it's better than the Outer Worlds video. It's not perfect, but once I have the time and money, I mean, I tried to find my lav mic, which might have been better in this scenario, but I can't. This is the problem of moving. But I just thought I'd give you that quick update on this. This is going to be the setup for the next two videos, and if I think it can be tweaked any further until I can actually get the foam up, great. But like I say, the lighting's fixed, so that's half the problem done. I'm not just lit on one side. But on to today's video. So I forgot that this November had an extra Friday to normal. I said last time that we'd be covering Angel next week, but I'd be a little early. I'd be jumping the gun there. So I looked on my list and I was like, well, let's do Jim Jarmusch's Dead Don't Die, or The Dead Don't Die, should I say, starring Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Tilda Swinton, and weirdly Tom Waits. And this was one of those that I think I'd agree with the consensus, you know, that it tried to do a lot of things and it nailed only certain things, and only when it was doing those certain things. The whole package doesn't quite work. There is something missing in it. And in a weird way, it's hard to put your finger on what is actually missing, because so many elements, like I say, work on their own. Taken in isolation, the humour's kind of mostly on point. The horror elements are well done. You know, the effects are very kind of graphic and horrible to look at, and that's what it should be in a zombie-based film. The sort of meta commentary and that kind of stuff is, I think, its weakest element, but still, it was trying to do it. It was doing what it could, you know, with that kind of idea. And the general Jim Jarmusch weird philosophical angles, you know, were also covered, and they were mostly okay. The performances, you know, were pretty good across the board as well. Tom Waits acting as a weird guy in the woods, which from some reports is him just playing himself, but I don't know him well enough to comment. Bill Murray, you know, there's various stories that have surfaced, you know, over both the cult of Murray, if you will, where he's this larger-than-life character who inserts him in people's lives and does crazy things just because why not? It's kind of like a weird sort of Buddhist philosophy of make people happy, but don't sort of take this whole thing on yourself. But then there are stories about how apparently he's had, you know, fallings out with Harold Ramis when he was alive, and his attitude previously wasn't great, but, you know, he could have grown as a person. At the end of the day, everything that he's in, he brings a certain charm, obviously humour, and just a Murrayness, I guess, if you will. I mean, I recently rewatched Zombieland, and yeah, you know, Bill Murray is Bill Murray in that. You know, Adam Driver is vastly removed from a couple of things that you might have seen him in. Definitely vastly removed from Kylo Ren. Probably a little closer to his role in BlacKkKlansman, because it's still a police guy, but, you know, he brings what he can, and he's got great comedy chops as well. You know, he plays well off Murray's kind of deliveries and everything like that. You know, they work really well together. There's clear chemistry there. They do bond very, very well. Tilda Swinton getting to use an actual Scottish accent for a change. She doesn't have to be British or American. I'm sure she enjoyed that. I'm sure she loved it. You know, and she, as this weird sort of Scottish pathologist who is really good with a blade, you know, she again gave a great performance. And like Caleb Landry Jones, I've had him on my radar since The Last Exorcist or Last Exorcism. Someone's going to correct me in the comments. He's either got a T or an M at the end. You know, he was great in that as the brother, and, you know, various other things I've seen him in, obviously Get Out and things like that. He's, you know, kind of like Azura Sky, I reckon. It's like, he's interesting to look at. He's not typical Hollywood drop dead gorgeous, but he's interesting to look at, and he does command the screen quite well. Even though in this role he's kind of like a bookish, nerdy kind of character who seems very unsure of himself and very kind of, you know, socially awkward, I suppose, is the nicest way. But, you know, his interactions in the shot with RZA, because technically that's his name, so I hate saying the Z that way. It's Z over here, just for those who aren't sure. But I know technically it's his name, so it's arguably RZA, and it throws me. I don't like it. But he, anyway, you know, the interactions between them are great as well. And like I say, there's so many great little elements in this film, but the whole piece just it falls somewhere between the script, the performances, and the editing. Something went wrong. Something just broke down somewhere in this chain. I know there's a lot more processes involved in making a film, but something in that whole sequence just did not click. And I wanted to love this film because I love zombie comedies. I've covered Shaun of the Dead on this channel. There's a bunch of other ones that I've seen, some absolutely awful that I can't even remember the name of because they're that bad. But I do enjoy them and I want to love them because I like the idea of mixing horror and comedy. I think it's a great mix, because you can have the lull with the comedy, but then you can ramp up the horror and it works. So everything in me wanted to love this. And like I say, it's got a bunch of actors I really respect, but it just fell flat. And I know this is the consensus. So many people have come to it going, there's such good about this. You watch the trailer and think this could be amazing. And like I say, just something with the end result, it just all falls flat as taken as a whole. And that's a shame. This, ironically, is a film where, in fact, it does die. The film does die by trying too hard on everything. And like I say, I really wanted to love it, but I just can't. And that's sad, because I like these kind of films. But let me know down below in the comments what you thought about it. Did you enjoy the various elements on their own, but again, like me, felt they didn't mash together? Did you think the whole thing was terrible? Do you hate the actors? I don't know. Just let me know and we'll keep the conversation going. I do have that thing of loving community. It's why I do try and make everything as good as I can for you guys. I'm doing it for me, but also for you. So I think that's all I really need to say about The Dead Don't Die. I'm not going to go into its nuances and things like that. It doesn't warrant it, unfortunately, as awful as that is to say. So thank you very much for watching, as always, and until next time, take care.